What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Filip Hrgovic. Get this. Filip Hrgovic is called and labeled a ducker. Wow. He claims that Filip Hrgovic was called out by him, and he went silent. And you want to know who he is, okay? And the one man that allegedly thrown his name into the mix to fight Hrgovic is Jarrell Big Baby Miller. The unpopular American was beaten on the same day of reckoning card by Daniel Dubois and was stopped within seconds to go of the 10th round. Since then, he has been arrested and bailed back home in the States, but has now taken to X claiming that Hrgovic has ignored his challenge. In response to Mike Coppinger, reports state that Hrgovic's IBF mandatory challenger says he's ready to fight Joseph Parker on March 8th in Riyadh on Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou undercard. Big Baby replied with his claim. He said, "But when I say something, he went silent." At this point, Miller will have to go back to work hard to get back into contention for big fights. And let me counterpunch, okay? Jarrell Miller never surprises me. I don't know if he's out of jail or what, but obviously he has access to some type of social media, because that's how he was able to respond to everybody when he did respond that he will be vindicated according to his lawyer, or was that just his lawyer talking for him? Nonetheless, it was posted on his Instagram. So that's his social media. So he has access to it to some shape, form, or fashion, unless he has an admin, okay? But I'll say this. Jarrell Miller fighting Filip Hrgovic at this point, I feel Jarrell Miller should do what he said he's going to do. Don't try to verbally, promotionally talk your way back into a fight that you're not prepared for. For one, you're overweight. Your team wants you to get 280, so you're 50 pounds off at best. They want you to handle this business, obviously, with this issue with this carjacking deal. That applies more pressure and distraction to anybody that's trying to accomplish something else, especially something in their career. So I don't think Jarrell Miller at this point is in any type of place to be calling out anybody, especially someone like Filip Hrgovic. Filip Hrgovic is an undefeated fighter. He wasn't the fighter that beat him. He wasn't a Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois was the WBA regular champion that was stopped against Alexander Usyk, but he was stopped before that against Joe Joyce. Okay, so he has been beaten a couple times, and then he beat you. So that means you need to start with somebody at least under the level that he was. Okay, to get your mojo back, to get back into training. And if you guys don't know how training works, when you start in a training camp, your training camp consists, if you're under the heavyweight limit, it consists of you losing weight if you know you've gained a lot of weight. Ask Amir Khan, ask Dillian White, ask a lot of people that gain weight in between. Who comes to mind? Other fighters come to mind. Can't think of any right now. But I think Jarrell Miller, he needs to really focus on his next fight and not try to call out Hrgovic. I mean, it gives you something to do, but it won't get you anywhere at this point, because Filip Hrgovic is waiting for bigger fights. Jarrell Miller lost his fight. I think Jarrell Miller, I think he only knows up. He doesn't know side to side. He doesn't know that level of competition that he's on at this point to prove that he should go to another level. I don't think that he's there yet. Now, I can think of ways why Hrgovic went silent, because you have nothing to offer Hrgovic. Hrgovic's the #1 IBF mandatory challenger for the IBF heavyweight crown. So he doesn't need you to validate him. And what would it gain from him beating you anyway? Just another name on the belt, because that doesn't prove you've done anything remarkable or changed or revolutionary. It just proves that you talk shit and you're able to let your mouth sometimes write a check that your ass sometimes can't cash. Bars. But no, Filip Hrgovic fighting Jarrell Miller, would I like it? I mean, what kind of fight would it be? Again, I see a guy that's not in shape or not prepared enough to take on these guys that he should be in shape to give himself a true and honest way or chance of beating these guys. Okay? And he didn't do that against Danny Dubois. He was just too big. He stopped punching after like the 8th round. And it was all Dubois, 8th round, Dubois 9th round, and Dubois finished in the 10th round. So I don't see Jarrell Miller being in any kind of shape to call anybody out. So I just think that may be his hobby, or that just may be his thing, that Brooklynite nature in him. But he needs to lose weight, and I do agree with his team. I want to see him out of jail first. I want to see him get in shape naturally second, and I want to see him come back third. That's my counterpunch on Jarrell Miller. You guys tell me what you think of Jarrell Miller accusing Filip Hrgovic of going silent when he mentioned and called him out. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!